we have an update to a story we brought you about a gymnast who did not receive an honor, only Black gymnast on the floor. They said it was a mistake. They corrected it later. Parents are now speaking out. Here it is.
It is painful to actually state and know the obvious. My daughter was the only Black child in that competition. She stood out well. There was no excuse for what happened. She felt very upset about what happened. It's more like they almost blamed her for being Black.
I was very uncomfortable. I actually yelled from far.
When I got back home, we saw the video and all of that. It was like, did it really happen? I couldn't really believe that did happen.
Probably for a period with time, don't forget about it. Painful to see that you have to beg for an apology later.
They only sent us an apology because the world wanted them to, because we cried for so long. We kind of told her, regardless of your skin color, people shouldn't treat you differently.
Isn't that sad? They only apologized when the world was exposed to their extreme action against this little girl. Love, however, prevails. Many reached out, including Simone Biles. Here's the reaction of the parents after they heard of this love.
As soon as we heard, the whole house was screaming with joy, with happiness, with sense of relief that such an iconic figure would actually be so empathetic and reach out to us.
You see, that's a beautiful thing. Let's put it up full mass. This world is a very beautiful place. It can have ugly spots, however, but sometimes those ugly spots will bring the beautiful out. And because of this extreme action, this ugliness that was done to this young child, the love showed up. So according to Biles, the post on Twitter, she has sent a personal video to the young lady. She says, and I quote, when this video was circulating, her parents reached out. It broke my heart to see. So I sent her a little video. There is no room for racism in any sport at all. Let's put that moment on screen. The mother said in the prior interview with the Irish Independent, quote, we are often the only Black family at gymnastics events, and this has been very hurtful for us. I speculate, was this an act of aggression in order to say, you are not welcomed here? Was this an act of aggression to say, you do not belong here? Because in context, now that we know that the family cried for an apology, wanted an apology, and never got an apology until the world judged them, I now question the entire motive of that moment. Some gave the benefit of the doubt when the company came out and said it was simply a mistake. It was an accident. We corrected it later. But now the parents have placed on record, you could have corrected it then when we came to you and said this was offensive. All right, Senator, thoughts here.
Doc, when I first saw this video, it really cut me deep. I didn't want to believe it. I did not want to believe my lying eyes. And sometimes we see things on video, and people of our stature in particular, I try not to jump immediately, but I kept watching the video over and over, and I kept saying, somebody gonna tell me there was some context to this. This can't be right. And then I definitely saw myself in this little girl. There's colorism at play. She's a darker skinned little girl. For me being once a darker skinned little girl, right now a dark skinned black woman, there's an extra to colorism. We talk a lot about racism. This was pure anti-blackness. And as you laid out, Doc, it was totally an act of aggression as far as I am concerned. She is black from a distance, as I think her mother said, she's the only black little girl. You know she there.
Right.
And to see her kind of look around, I mean, you saw the baby look around as if to say, what about me? I believe that woman did that on purpose. This is not the first time the black children have had to go through this, whether we go all the way back in time or whether right now, recent time, 21st century, we're talking about this still happening to black children. And I need our viewers to understand, because sometimes people don't get this. Even black people don't get this. We have been socialized. The Eurocentric worldview is a powerful drug. And in that worldview, it places your proximity to whiteness in every aspect of your life. And beauty is one of those, Doc. And the reason why this hits me so hard is because even for me, being as grown as I am, I still go back to 12-year-old Nina or 10-year-old Nina or even 5-year-old Nina. And I could feel that little girl's pain because it's anti-blackness and it is colorism too. It is all of those things. And so my heart just goes out to the parents. I wish they could sue their behinds, because that apology is not enough for how this little girl is going to have to carry this burden for the rest of her life. She has strong parents by her side. I'm sure she has a strong community to lift her up, but make no mistake about it. There are many little girls all over the world who are black, who are darker skinned, who go through this, and big ups to Simone Biles.
Yes. And I concur everything you said. And I remind everyone, the greatest disinfectant to extreme action like this is transparency. And because transparency was at play, we now have at least an element of justice to talk about.